not on holiday, no. It's preposterous at best to want to be a world record-breaking ultra-endurance motorcyclist.
Today, Motorcycle Adventure Dirtbike TV is going to catch up with world-renowned motorcycle adventurer Nick Sanders. Nick has just arrived in Australia from South America on his round-the-world trip on a Yamaha Tenere 700. This is his 8th lap of the world on a motorcycle, and he's planning to punch out some serious miles in our country. But Nick is used to punching out serious miles in a short period of time. In his early days, he held the original world record for riding around the world on a bicycle. He's also ridden around the world on various models of motorcycles, before settling on the mighty Yamaha R1 road bike for another world record time of 19 days and 4 hours in 2005. In 2011, he turned his sights to riding a Yamaha Super Tenere from Alaska to Terra del Fuego and return in 49 days and 17 hours.
And this pass has stymied so many of my attempts to become the fastest person to ride the longest continuous highway, all the way from Alaska down to Ushuaia.
In recognition of Nick's contribution to motorcycling, Yamaha gave him the first Tenere T700 to roll off the production line for his current undertaking, an 8th round-the-world ride dubbed Nick's World Ride. This current trip is raising funds to benefit Two Wheels for Life, a charity that ensures people in the poorest and most remote parts of Africa have access to healthcare. We catch up with Nick in Manly on the east coast of Australia, a short ferry ride from the busy city of Sydney. Is that Nick Sanders? 8 times round the world traveller? What's going on here, mate?
Well, there we are, you
Nick!
see. Pleased to meet you, Dave. How are you?
Where's your bloody Tenere? What, you swapped it for a ferry, have you?
Yeah, I'm starting with my bike's actually still in customs, then going through quarantine, so I'm kind of hanging around. I'm kind of a regular tourist. I miss my bike.
Oh, no. Well, mate, you're in Manly, and we're going to take you for a little bit of a tour, and then we're going to take you back to Mad TV headquarters and do a bit of video review on some of your trips and travels you've been doing.
Marvellous. I look forward to it. Thank you very much for looking after me.
So Nick, you're on the Tenere 700. What's your plans for Australia? Have you got anything sorted?
Well, it's a bit touchy-feely, to be honest. I mean, I'm going around the world, obviously, and I'm scheduled to do 100,000 kilometres, 60,000 miles, so I need to achieve that target, really. I mean, it's about the consistency and the durability of the bike as much as, you know, what I plan to do.
We head back to Mad TV headquarters to give Nick some hints on route planning for his Australia run at a time of weather extremes. Nick's also kindly offered to share some footage hot off the press from his just completed run down the length of South America.
I've been around the Australian coast about 4 or 5 times now, but most of the time I've seen it, you know, in anger, going for records and stuff, so I don't really see Australia. So this is very exciting. I've got to put 20,000 kilometres onto the clock because we need to go back with 100k on my Tenere 700. So I'm going to go around the coast. I don't know which way to go, but I also want to touch the red dirt, and I'm a bit unsure. So Clubby, you know, you might be able to tell me.
Red dirt, there's any amount of it.
Yep.
First thing I'm going to say is, where do you want to go back to again if you've done it 4 or 5 times before navigating the circumference of Australia?
Well, the problem is, if so whichever way you go round this way or that way, and you end up back in Sydney, then I've still got to get to Perth, really, because I'm flying on to India.
So the bike goes out, from WA.
I think so, yeah. Unless I can get a flight from here, but it's a bit unknown. I kind of, want to work it out as I go along, to be honest.
Yeah, sure. So, well, have you got time for Tasmania this tour?
I've got to make sure.
You need to do that because it's just spectacular.
Yeah, I believe.
Exactly right down there. There's so much to see and do down there.
So 3 or 4 days there, and then 4 or 5 weeks here. That's the one,
absolutely,
really,
mate. Absolutely. Flinders Ranges, South Australia, north of Adelaide. That's always a highlight for us. Pop into Cape York. You start getting into serious dirt up there, past Cairns.
Yeah.
You know, that's serious dirt up there.
But can you do stuff like you're coming down here on the red route and then you kind of go in and you go on this brown
Absolutely,
route?
mate.
Is that dirt? Is that what that is?
Yeah. Look for a place up here. This one, Cunnamulla, Thargomindah, around here, Quilpie. Yeah. These have got fast development roads on them.
They're big, wide, fast gravel roads that you can
out
get
in the red
through lots of kilometres, but lots of visuals as well.
So you could,
for your filming, for your social media.
So you could do this, do that, and then come back here.
Absolutely.
So in these areas, you'll punch out huge kilometres. You can do you know, 3 or 4, maybe 600 kilometres comfortably a day through here.
And it's away from the coast, and you're hitting the dirt. So
absolutely.
So you've got this kind of way of going. That's perfect. That's
we'll work it out, mate.
And
easily.
So Nick, this is one of the problems. You know, we're in the wet season at the moment. This is all the roads closed in Queensland at the moment. All those red things mean those roads are currently closed. It's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, the thing is, I think what you tend to do then is go the opposite way. So I'll go kind of clockwise.
Yes.
So that hopefully the flooding will go down by the time we get there.
Yeah.
And if not, I just have to shoot down the Stewart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Really.
just completely shut off southwestern Queensland now.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
You see, I don't think people recognise this in Australia. They don't realise you get a lot of rain and a lot of flooding. You know, I didn't know that, to be perfectly honest. I should. But you know, I mean, it's autumn, so it's not the winter.
Yeah.
We associate winter anyway with wet back home.
Yeah.
But there you go.
Yeah, no, it's an amazing. And we've had huge dumps of rain, one after the other, and that's going into this here. I'll just show you on the map. This is going into this channel country here, and that's why you're getting that. And then there's another cyclone off here that's blocking up the top of the country as well. That's why you're getting that double whammy on the road closures. So this is just getting inundated at the moment. So if you're gonna kick off your circumnavigation, I reckon that the right way is clockwise until it hopefully calms down for you.
Well, you know, at the end of the day, you've just got to relax with your route and kind of, you know, and just go where you can. I mean, you know, we've talked more obliquely about Thailand.
Look at the size of that fly on my leg.
Yes. Gee,
You get it? It bit me
No,
before.
miss me, you
Why
bastard.
did he bite?
March flies, they're called.
Is that right?
And it's March.
Yeah. Oh, cool. Yeah.
Mate, do you know what that is?
No idea.
It's Aerogard, mate.
Was it?
No idea.
Oh, no.
Oh, that's good.
Is it good? Stick it with that here. Go on.
Yeah.
Spray your dog. Nice.
You spray the dog.
All over your legs. All over your legs.
Oh, really?
All over,
yeah.
There we go.
That's it. You'll never get bitten again.
Lovely.
And
Thank you
here
ever
I'll
so
do
much.
your arms
Oh, Jesus.
Welcome to
Come
Australia.
on.
Yeah.
Welcome to Australia.
and your back.
They used to spray you on the plane with this, didn't they? When you landed at Mascot, remember? They had to spray the plane.
Welcome, Nick's been baptised into Australia by my wife.
Well, Dave, there's no point doing the journeys I've done unless I film them. You know, otherwise, you know, people can't benefit from the experience or, you know, the exposure to what I see. So it's very important to me. As you know, filmmaking just takes hours every day. Even when I was going on the road in 19 days, I swear I worked it backwards and I thought, well, a couple of minutes here, 10 minutes there. I lost 2 full days filming. And I don't think many people know that. So this is a lot of the filming that I've been doing over this last round the world journey. And I'm delighted to share it with you. Absolutely great.
I can't wait for this one. So it should be fantastic.
Well, here we are. This is what I quite like about this image, really. I mean, you've got 4 people on a bike, which is, you know, kind of crazy. We're on Ometepe, the Isle of Ometepe in Nicaragua, where kind of anything goes, really, kind of from a motoring perspective. I rather like the young lady at the back. She's full of, you know, she's positive and so forth, and you know, she's kind of quite modern actually. Because if you see, once we move on, you know, right at the very end, she just puts her thumb up like that. She gets it, whatever she gets. But you know, it's great. I was very pleased with that. You need shots like this. I mean, this is just the open road. It's you know, it's the everyman open road. It's just there. Yep, we need shots of the face just to put me into context, so you know it's me or whoever. But you know what I like about this really is the fact that it could be anybody. It's not just myself, obviously it is, but you know, it could be you too. You know, we're all doing our journeys, and it's not exclusive to me, far from it. There are lots of us out there. This is in the Baja California, the peninsula which goes down on the western seaboard of North America. And I'm literally, all I'm doing here is going across from a small track, which happens to be about here. You can't see it because it was very small. Isolated, no cars passed for 2 days. On that particular period I was crossing, and I'm coming to find a campsite. My view is, if you're camping, if you're doing anything, if people can't see you, you are safe. And that was my reckoning, and I have never had a problem yet. So off-road, the Tenere, obviously the Tenere 700 can do it with impunity, on and off-road, as you can see. Yep. This is Peru, and I found a little inlet going to a place called Puerto Inca. I'd never heard about it before, it was just a signpost. And for the first time in all my journeys, I've had an opportunity to explore and just find out, you know, new things which I just hitherto couldn't do, because when you're riding 1,000 miles a day and you're massive adventure, you don't see an awful lot really. You feel it more than see it. Here I am just just somewhere on the track. It's a typical track. It's not unlike many desert tracks in Australia in many ways, and I just have a break really. The interesting thing about this is the silence. You are on your own all the time. You're dealing with your thoughts. You're dealing with yourself. Similarly, with when I'm by lakes in Peru, or I'm motorbiking across Nicaragua again. This happens to be Nicaraguan area. You're all the time dealing with yourself. I don't have any friends when I travel with. I've always tended to travel alone. That's my style, I guess, and I've learnt to like it. Although over the years I've taken characters and clients on major journeys. I've taken 20 characters, 20 clients, the length of the Americas on 3 separate occasions. I've taken 22 characters, 22 riders around the world in 2002 and 2004. I've taken riders to Timbuktu and back on 3 occasions. We've done massive stuff. But when I travel alone to do stuff, to either film or to record break, it's always alone. Here, Peru. What I found with Peru is absolutely simply, it has the best coastline in the world. There is nothing, in my experience, that compares with it. I mean, everybody rates Big Sur, which is fabulous, which is on the western seaboard going down through California. And yeah, it's kind of good. But the downside there is you've got lots of vehicles and, recreational vehicles and big caravans and stuff. Here, in southern Peru, you've got nothing. You've got the road yourself. And you're right on the edge of the coast, and the coast just slips down to the sea, hundreds of meters down. And, every time I do this, I just realise why I like motorbiking. It just means everything to me when I come to places like this. It's beyond good. Here is basically Nicaragua again, and it's Ometepe, and it just shows what it is, to ride the motorbike through a village setting. And the whole thing changes. You are there, you're right in the middle of it, everybody revolves around you, bike coming through, and you can see the dog and the little girl, and it's extraordinary. And then the amazing thing that happened, as soon as the bike exited the environment just went back to where it was. It was a road, it's a path, it's where people run and play and so forth. It's not just, a place where cars go through, because they rarely do. And again, it's the great thing about this particular bike, the Tenere 700, allows me, or any of us, to go to places where we might not ordinarily go. And back to Peru again. Peru, I think, gave me some of my best photography, and certainly some of my best riding experiences, to be perfectly honest. The great thing about going down through North, Central and South America for me was the fact that I've done it so many times, so I felt very familiar with it. I know the natives are friendly, people are great, people are friendly. I'm trying to go around the world thinking that the world is a very positive situation, so that you're not always thinking like, don't believe everything the politicians tell us, don't believe everything you read in the newspapers, go and do it yourself. It's very much encouraging people to do their own thing, and I think this is what this journey kind of represents.
And Nick, here you're coming back on the T7. I'm looking at the suspension. The bike seems very well set up for you. Tell me about the handling and the bike itself. It seems to be doing that well.
Well, as you can see here, it is great for me because I'm a light guy. I'm at 74 kilos. It's a production suspension setup. It really, wasn't set up specially, particularly for me. I ride anything, and I ride up in any setup. I think it looks like it can go anywhere. In my experience so far, it can. I got the first bike off the production line in August last year, and I rode from Paris to Dakar, following the Paris-Dakar route, on road, and I was privileged to get the very first bike, and it was great. But now the bike's been available in Europe and I think in Australia and a number of places in the world, not North America as yet. Not everyone's had an opportunity to try it out, but when everybody gets their hands on this bike, they will take it to places where perhaps I probably wouldn't. I'm very much an R1 rider. I've ridden around the world 4 times on an R1, so that's my history. So I'm dabbling with off-road, if you know what I mean. It's
a good bike to dabble off-road on, though. It's very confidence-inspiring, isn't it?
You're right. One reason why Yamaha support me is because I am very much, I know this may sound odd, but I'm everyman. I'm an ordinary guy, short guy, whatever. I'm just a guy which, can and can't do certain things. But this bike allows me to do these things. You don't have to be an expert rider or to be able to ride up a sand dune in order to ride this bike. If that's the case, then they're not going to get very many sales. This bike is for everybody who is willing to have a go, and it's going to be a very forgiving bike. It's robust enough in order to, you know, to do the job sufficiently well, even if you're not. It helps you it helps you through a difficult situation. That's what I'm trying to say. Gosh, I seem to be obsessed with Peru, but I just particularly get a sense of pleasure when I get a particularly good shot, which takes a bit of setting up. You go an awful long way, and you want to do the best that you possibly can, whether you're doing photography, whether you're writing about it, whether you're sending stuff back to mum. You know, it's all got to work well. Otherwise, to be honest, what's the point? And here we go. This illustrates the fact that I'm not the greatest off-road rider in the world. You know, I'm absolutely not a very good one at all. Although I give it my best shot, I'm not afraid to dive in there. Clearly, you know, I've dug a hole. The suspension was fine, but it's nothing to do with the bike at all. I just rode into a sand pit and blew it. So here's me trying to get out of it. Obviously, you know, not very good at it, am I?
You look like an imitation of a gopher, actually.
I'm absolutely useless, you're right, yeah. I'm experienced in many things with motorbiking, but not riding in sandpits. But what I did learn, and no one taught me this, the only way out of this is basically, I mean, now you look, I'm working it out as you can see. Yeah, try and lift the bike up from the back wheel, what an idiot. But in actual fact, the first thing you need to do is get the bike on its side and at some point get that back wheel out of the hole and then start again on fresh dirt. And that tends to find its way out. And here I am. The great thing is, you know, this is the track, this is the route. I can do what I like. I'll go to sleep if I want. It's my journey.
That's a stunning shot. That's so aspirational.
Again, look at this dirt, it's sand, there's a bit of sand there, it can be done. And I was very pleased, and it just says I have come a long way and I've still got a long way to go. And yeah, another great drone shot, riding across camera, one fits with the other. Yeah, very aspirational, you're quite right.
And where are you with these shots?
Baja, California, yeah, that's it, down the peninsula. It's the playground for North American bikers, clearly. I discovered it, and obviously not the first, and it really is as good as it says on the packet. It's a must-do for everybody, really.
So Nick, thanks so much for showing us that footage. That was just a real treat, and we look forward to catching up with you when you're in Australia. So thanks so much, mate.
Great pleasure. Andrew, thank you very much indeed. Thank you.
And we'll look forward to seeing you.